Good evening, scrappers and casters. Tonight's video is going to focus on scrapping a microwave. Now, this microwave was donated to me by my girlfriend. I was talking to her last week about what I could really scrap out, and she happened to have this older microwave in her storage unit, and I asked her if she'd be interested in donating it to my new YouTube channel, and she said go for it. So, thanks babe, I appreciate it. So, this particular microwave was manufactured in August of 2003, so it's 18 years old. It's 700 watts. It's probably not going to be a lot of copper inside this, but I might be surprised. I mean, every microwave is different. This particular model, it wasn't very heavy when I put it on the table, so I don't expect there to be a huge transformer in it. But the microwave does have age to it. And it's actually not in bad shape considering it's 18 years old, but it definitely has age to it, and I'm really hoping that there's going to be, a fair amount of copper on the transformer. So I'll go ahead and set up the tripod, and I'm actually recording this intro with a GoPro Hero original that I've had for, probably 8 years now. And I'm going to go ahead and record the breakdown with a new GoPro Hero 9. So hopefully the video quality is pretty good. I've never used a 9 series before, so I really don't know what to expect, but I'm hoping it's going to be pretty good. So anyways, we'll get the tripod set up, and we'll go ahead and break this down. Okay, first thing you're going to need is a number 20 Torx bit. I don't know if you can see that or not, but yeah, this has security screws for the whole cover. I don't see any. Oh, there's a screw over there. But just start taking screws off and get the cover. So we got one here, one over here, one here. Hopefully my arm's not covering the unit itself. One here. We'll leave this one on. Let's see if this actually comes off. So I'm just going to spin this around for a minute just so I can get to the other side. There's actually one down right here. And that one is actually a Phillips. So we'll do this. And then there's two more at the bottom, right here and here. Let's get these off real quick. I probably should use the screw gun, but it just makes a lot of noise. So I like peace and quiet. I listen to key machines all day, running and cutting keys for 8 hours a day. So we'll go ahead and grab my trusty ashtray. Put all the screws inside. So let's see. So that's coming off. That's coming off. Spin it around. Get this stuff out of the way. Try to get you a good view. The cover comes off. This is just cheap tin steel, tin shred, whatever you want to call it. Make sure you don't destroy the cover because I'm going to show you what you can do in these when I'm done. So, right here is the magnetron. We're going to leave this on. I wouldn't advise taking them apart. Pretty much radiation. So, yeah. But we're just going to start removing connectors. Need a Phillips here for this. That's the ground wire. I try to save as much wire as I can. I mean, it all adds up over time. So, just pull all the connectors off. This is going to be a few pieces that I'm going to leave inside here. So I'll go through those pieces. Just keep removing connectors. The power cable. See if we can get this out of here. Oh, there we go. Still attached here. We're going to need our side cutters. This makes things a lot easier. Let's cut it off pretty much right here. No, yeah, and then I'll just cut this little piece off right here because that's going to go in my recycle. So we've got a clean cord here, brass here, these three connectors. So we'll cut that off later. It's just hard to view this the way the camera is, so hopefully you guys can see this. I'm pulling off the connectors from the circuit board and all the switches that are in here. Sometimes the switches just break right off, which is fine. There's actually a silver contact in these, very small. Sometimes they're not even worth grabbing, but I don't know if you like me and you actually want to keep them. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. It just depends on the mood that I'm in. I've actually had the worst day. It's just been so busy at work. So I decided to actually make this video because I've been kind of dicking off on it for the last 6-7 days. So there's the circuit board right here. It's a low grade board. Got a little bit of ribbon wire. There's really not much on the board of value. I will try to take off as much as I can as far as ribbon and wires. But there's a lot of connectors inside these. I mean, I'm literally counting probably about 10 or 11 right now. We're just gonna tear that off. I mean, it's a lot easier. Grab this off the transformer. That's the transformer right there, if you can see. It actually looks pretty beefy, and it actually might be copper on both of them. One of my last videos, I said the older the microwave, the better chances copper on both windings for the transformer. So I'm just gonna flip this over. There's another motor right here. I don't know if you can see it through the grate or not, but those are very easy to strip the copper off of. So this right here is held on. It's in a bracket, plastic bracket, so we can unscrew these with Phillips. So we'll go ahead and do that. I know my videos are pretty long, so I'm just trying to make it so they're a little bit shorter, so I'm probably going to be speeding through this. Got a Torx one right here, which I believe is connected to that bracket. And then get some tabs right here. There we go, it comes right out. That's the capacitor. Most scrapyards don't take it. They're like irony aluminum. I don't even bother, I leave it inside. There's really not much for me to want to even melt this down. I probably would never try that. But let's get all the wires off. If they don't come off, you can cut the connectors off, but most of the connectors are made of brass, so I try to save them. This one's giving me a little bit of a problem. Yep, we're just gonna cut it. Actually, we'll grab it first, see if we can pull it off legitimately. There it is. Came off, it's still there. So I'll just leave that there. We're gonna move this aside for a second. I'm gonna show you this motor. You got 2 screws that are holding it on right here. These I usually break off. So we'll take the screws off first, take a quick look. And these are so easy to take apart. I mean, literally less than a minute and you can get all the copper off of that. Once you have it down into, you know, its simplest form, which is remove all this hardware. So, but yeah, I had the worst day. It's just been so busy at work. I finally got a helper after about 9 months. So things are slowly gonna get back to normal for me, where I can actually do my hobbies. So you can see this is getting stuck in here, so I usually just try to grab onto it and pry it off. And if that fails, just clip all the blades off. I would wear gloves for this. I've already got cut once. So wear gloves. Be safe. You only got 2 hands. And I'll be honest with you, I work with my hands all day long. Being a locksmith for a major distributor, you know, like I key like 50, 60 locks a day, and my hands usually kill by the end of the night. And then I still find the time to do these YouTube videos for you guys. So I hope you guys appreciate it, because my hands sure as hell don't. So we got that out. This garbage. Actually, we'll probably put this back in the microwave. Yeah, we'll take that off real quick. You'll actually see what I'm going to do with these microwaves afterwards when I'm done. There's a reason I'm keeping all the screws and keeping most of the material. Got a little bit of, like I said, irony aluminum inside here. I'm not going to scrap it. And then a little bit of tin shred. That's going to go in recycle. So we've got another wire here. We'll unscrew this. Some kind of, maybe another ground wire or something. That out. I'm gonna clean this up a little bit. Pull this off. I'll try to. There you go. There's a nut on the other side, so once you get it started, you can hold the nut in place and just pull it off. There we go. And we got one more. There we go. And now this whole This is irony aluminum. You can throw that in your irony aluminum bin. This piece right here, this little bracket, so to speak, that's aluminum. There's a little bit of steel in here, and there's a bushing in there that's also made of steel. I'm probably not going to even try to get this apart because it's not worth my time for, you know, a fraction of a cent of aluminum. So I'll just throw this in. I'll throw this in irony aluminum, and I'll leave it. I'll try to get the plastic off later with minimal effort. But these right here, the way to scrap them, you just put them in a vise like this, standing up, and then just gently tap it, like in the middle, and you'll see the ridges right here. It goes all the way through on both sides, and it's on this side too. Just gonna tap it, and eventually this will push out, and then you can break off the plastic on one side and just pull all the copper off. It's very easy. I always save these. So, next thing we're gonna do is remove the transformer, because I'm actually gonna check that and see if it legitimately is copper on both of the windings. So there's 4 screws that holds this in. I would recommend leaving one of the top screws in first. Gravity's gonna want it to drop down, so that's one of the last things I do. I do one in the corner at the top and then both at the bottom. Transformer probably weighs about 4 or 5 pounds. And before I remove this screw completely, I'm gonna go ahead and loosen this one up a tiny bit. Because then once I pull that screw out, the whole transformer is gonna be resting on the weight of this screw. It's gonna be a little difficult to get out with the weight. Now we get that screw right here. All right, it dropped down, so now I'm gonna hold on to it. I've actually dropped one of these on my bare foot from 2 feet high, and I almost severed my big toe. I was barefooted like an idiot. It was on the end of a coffee table, and I bumped the coffee table, and it actually fell, and this piece right here actually landed right across my big toe on my left foot, and literally almost severed it. So this thing's pretty heavy. I mean, I really want to do that. So the next thing I'm going to do is, I don't know if you saw my previous video, but when you strap in transformers, there's 2 coils on it, especially for microwaves. This particular one here might be aluminum, so you want to check this one. But if this is copper, then the one that's protected in plastic and all that lacquer, that's definitely copper. So we're going to check this right now. So we'll go ahead and just lightly file into it. That is aluminum. You can see right there, it's a silver finish. Once I scraped away at it with the this, but I could tell right now just by looking at this, it is copper on this other one. So get through there. And I cut through it, and that is definitely copper. So I will save this one, and I will take this transformer apart, and I'll definitely melt that down at a later date. So we're gonna get this transformer out of the picture. So now the circuit board, it might be kind of difficult to get this out. First thing I'm gonna do is remove this. Actually, that just worked out perfect because I'm gonna show you what's in these switches, because I just ripped half of it apart. I don't know if you can see that. There's a little bit of brass. And where is it? There is a silver contact in there. It's very small. Oh, there it is. That little square piece right there, that's a silver contact. I'm not sure of the purity of that. I really can't find any information online about it as to how pure the contacts really are. I don't think they're just a thin plating. I honestly feel that there is a little bit more silver than that. So I tend to save these. Once I get a whole mason jar full of them, which will probably take me about 100 years, I'll figure out a way to go ahead and get the silver out of them. So I will say this, these wires go all the way to the carousel here. There, oh, I actually got it all out. So never mind. Usually I cut them about halfway because they're really buried in there. So there's a little bit of wire. Got some brass connectors here that I'll cut off and throw in the brass bin. And this will probably go in low grade wire. It's not long enough for me to want to strip the wire to get the copper. I mean, there is some thicker pieces on there, but it's literally like 1.5 foot of wire. But I mean, if you want to waste the time to do it, go for it. But I just leave the connectors on and throw it in my low grade wire bin. So I'm gonna see if I can get the circuit board out of there. I get currently, I think, 15 or 20 cents a pound for low grade circuit boards. So sometimes they're worth grabbing if there's a big transformer on it. That one has a little tiny one, but it's all in the weight of these things. So this should just come right out, just like that. There's a little bit of ribbon wire there. This is worthless. I mean, there's a little bit of silver in here, but you literally need tons and tons of material to be able to get it. So this transformer, pretty hard to come apart. You'd have to really break it off the circuit board. It gets kind of messy. And there's not a lot of copper on these. I mean, there's a little bit. I forgot if they call this an IC chip or not. I think they're a little bigger, but I've been told that they're good for like gold recovery. But like I said, you really need the old stuff. You know, stuff from like the 80s and the 70s. These right here, these are kind of easy to break apart. There is some copper in here. I've shown it in previous videos. You just break it open. There's a little spool in there. You take the plastic off the spool, and then you're able to just pull the copper right off. I mean, it's literally, I've actually weighed it before. It probably doesn't even weigh close to 1 penny's worth of copper. And a copper penny from 1982 and a half in previous years, it actually has 3.1 grams of 95% copper. Okay, sorry about that. I had a really big tickle in my throat, so I was starting to lose my voice. I'm actually going to take a little bit of soda here. Must have been after effects from having COVID. Yeah, I actually had COVID at Christmas time, 2020. Couldn't see my family or my friends or my girlfriend, for that matter, for almost 2 weeks. So yeah, that kind of sucked. I did get to spend Christmas Day with them, but I didn't get to spend any New Year's with anybody. So anyways, that's pretty much it. That's what I pull out of a microwave. And I'm going to go ahead and put everything back together, and we'll come right back. Okay, we're back. I decided to put the cover back on. I'm just starting to strip things down a little bit, but I wanted to show you how easy it was to pull this piece out of this motor. Like I said, I put it in the vise, and I just beat it a few times with a hammer. And sometimes I push this piece through. It's a nice big chunk of steel. Just throw that there. And pretty much what I do, I get the edges, I break them off as close to the edge as I possibly can. And just so when I try to get the copper out, it doesn't get hung up on the sharp edges of the plastic. So yeah. There you go. And then you just pull it off. There's a few pieces in there, but you know, if you do it correctly and you get all the edges off, this will come off in one shot pretty much. But you know, you can see I'm getting some copper out of it. So we'll go ahead and finish that up later. But I wanted to show you what I normally do with these. I've got a few other pieces here. I just want to get out of the way. Copper that I pulled off of that transformer. I was able to get that aluminum bracket off, and I cleaned it up real quick just to get the aluminum out of it, just to show you. You know, it's just depends on how you time and how you want to do things. So I'm just putting all this stuff in the tray. I got a little bit of brass off of these connectors here, and then I don't know, I probably just got my face in the camera, but it doesn't matter at this point because I'm gonna be YouTube famous. But yeah, all these connectors, these are brass. Again, like I said, there's a little silver contact in here. I might clean this up later on, but there's literally not a lot of brass on it. But if you keep doing these and you save it up, eventually it'll equal something. So we'll just set that aside. But yeah, so pretty much what I do with these, the reason I put the cover back on, I actually do save these. The reason I save these is because you can open the door, you can throw all your small steel pieces in here. So like, you know, pieces like that, you know, more than that, you know. There's another one of those brackets that I missed. I'll clean that up later. But yeah, you can just throw all your screws in there, and it keeps everything nice. You know, the last thing you want to do is bring a bin into the scrap yard, and you know, you got a whole bunch of screws. I usually just mix them in with everything, just getting all the pieces out, and that's all steel. So, and then once I scrap out this transformer here, I'll throw this whole shell inside here. This is actually considered heavy duty, I think #1 steel, if I'm not mistaken. I don't remember what the measurements are, but I believe this is #1 steel, this thick plate here. And again, in a past video, I showed you how to break these open. You pretty much just find the edge here where the seam is, and you take a cold chisel, go along the edge here, and you just bang on it until it cracks loose. It will crack loose. This whole bottom piece will come off. Then you put this in the vise like this, and you start just beating the things, beating the spools out. You could use like I guess you could use a pry bar to get in between them, to just get it started a little bit. I tend to just, bang them out with a hammer. And, you can get the rest of it. Like, that's aluminum here, obviously, because I had filed that before. And then this one right here is definitely copper, because I broke right through the wires, and it's still copper colored underneath, so. But anyways, that's pretty much all there is to scrapping a microwave. I mean, if you get these, I would recommend doing it, especially if you have a lot of small steel that you want to get rid of. And like I said, you can just throw the steel inside here. I literally, the last one that I cashed in, just from my tin shred, this thing must have weighed, the one that I did before when I filled it with steel, it literally weighed about 90 pounds. So, that's pretty much what I do with them. Anyways, thank you very much for watching, and catch you on the next video. Okay guys, I lied. I forgot to do the wrap up and the actual weigh-in of all the metals that I'm actually going to save. There's the brass connectors right there. I pulled every one of them off. I got 19 grams. So we'll go ahead and just dump this real quick. Hopefully it goes back to 0. Yep, it did. Start putting the copper in. That was from the transformer. Over half a pound. I get some other copper here. Just dump right on the scale. So we got 316 grams. I believe that's about 3/4 of a pound. 11.2 ounces. Come on, let's go. Yeah, 11.2 ounces. So pretty close to 3/4 of a pound. I mean, I didn't strip any of the wire. The only thing I took was the the motor, the transformer, and a couple other small pieces that I grabbed off the circuit board that I stripped down. So, but like I said, that was a 700 watt microwave, so that's typically what you can expect for an example as to what kind of copper yield you get. I mean, the video wasn't that long, but I mean, I spent a little extra time out off camera, and I actually stripped this down a little bit further. But I mean, like I said in previous videos, it's all based upon your time and what your time is worth to you. So, as you guys know, I actually melt down most of the metal. I'm actually not going to be doing a melt tonight, only because the crucible is not cleaned out from the last time. So I'm actually going to clean the crucible out tonight, and maybe in the next video, I'll pretty much weigh up the copper. And actually, I'm going to do that right now. I've got the copper here from the CRT TV that I actually scrapped last week, actually. So we're just going to throw this on the scale too. See what we got. There's one thing in here that I did not scrap. That was the copper wire from a piece of Romex that somebody gave me. So I'm not going to add that because that wasn't scrapped on camera. So here we go. Here's the rest of it. So pretty much the last two videos with the CRT television and tonight's video with the microwave, I ended up getting 1 pound, 3.3 ounces. Like I said, that old television from the previous video, it was a small television. I wasn't expecting much off of it. And this microwave, pretty small and underpowered, so I didn't expect much off of this too. So anyways, thank you very much for watching my video. If you like these videos, please subscribe. Please like, share if you'd like. And, we'll figure out more stuff to scrap for you guys. All right, thank you very much.